The night my boyfriend laughed and told me his father said I would never be good enough for him, I surprised both of us. I agreed. Then I asked him to pack a bag. My name is Audrey Mercer. I'm 29 years old, and I design and build custom furniture for people who have enough money to argue for 40 minutes about the exact shade of walnut they want in a dining table. I'm not talking about weekend DIY projects. I build commission libraries, conference tables, built-in offices, bars, cabinetry, and one-of-a-kind pieces that sometimes take months to complete. My workshop is clean, my equipment is expensive, and my waiting list usually runs 6 months. I make a very good living. But to people like Gregory DiRocco, I work with my hands. And apparently that made me adorable. For 2 years, I dated his son, Finn. Finn was 26, handsome in the effortless way that usually requires a personal trainer, expensive moisturizer, and somebody else's credit card. His father, Gregory DiRocco, was 55 and owned DiRocco Signature Homes, one of the largest luxury developers in the state. Unlike Finn, Gregory had actually earned his money. He started as a framing contractor, survived 2 recessions, nearly went bankrupt once, and eventually built an empire developing gated communities where the cheapest houses cost more than most people earned in 15 years. You would think a man who started with a tool belt would respect someone who built things. You'd be wrong. The first time Finn brought me to dinner, Gregory stared at the calluses on my fingers. Finn tells me you make furniture. I design and build custom pieces. He nodded slowly. Good. People need hobbies that keep them grounded. Finn laughed. I didn't. It's my company, I said. Gregory smiled over his steak. Of course. That was Gregory. Never openly cruel. Just condescending enough that objecting made you look insecure. Finn worked for him as a client liaison, which sounded impressive until you realized his primary responsibilities seemed to be driving a company-leased Mercedes, taking wealthy clients to restaurants, and posting photographs from construction sites while other people actually worked. He lived in my apartment, an apartment I owned. His contribution to the mortgage was inconsistent. His contribution to decorative pillows was extraordinary. But the real problem wasn't money. It was that Finn worshipped Gregory. His father's approval mattered more than anything. At first, Finn defended me. She owns her own business, Dad. She has clients waiting months for her. She probably makes more than some of your project managers. But something changed. Slowly, he began correcting what I wore to family dinners. He suggested I stop arriving in my work truck. Once, before Gregory's birthday dinner, he looked at my hands and said, Maybe use that hand cream I bought you tonight. I stared at him. For what? He shrugged. Nothing. They just look rough. That should have bothered me more than it did. Instead, I told myself relationships required compromise. Then came the gala. I had spent the previous week installing a massive walnut library in a client's home. 70 hours. My shoulders hurt. My fingertips were split. I'd been surviving on coffee and protein bars. Friday evening, Finn walked out of our bedroom wearing a tuxedo. You're not dressed. I was sitting on the couch in sweatpants. I'm not going. He stopped. What? Finn, I'm exhausted. Can we skip it? Order Thai food? Watch something terrible? His expression hardened. We can't skip it. You can go. My father's partners will be there. Then go. Audrey. Something in his voice made me look up. He wasn't disappointed. He was disgusted. You seriously can't do this one thing. I worked 70 hours this week. He gave a sharp laugh. Not amused. Cruel. Oh my God. What? This is exactly what Dad means. My stomach tightened. What does Gregory mean? Finn hesitated just long enough that I knew whatever came next had been discussed more than once. I talked to him about us last week. About us? He thinks you're comfortable. I stared at him. Finn continued. He says you don't have the stamina for our lifestyle. You're happy staying in that workshop. making tables and getting covered in sawdust. I make more than enough money. It's not about money. Then what is it about? Finn looked me directly in the eyes. He says you'll never really be good enough for me. Silence. 2 years together. 2 years of supporting him. 2 years of letting him live inside a home I bought while his father treated me like hired help. And Finn wasn't angry about what Gregory had said. He believed him. I suddenly felt strangely calm. You know what? Finn crossed his arms. What? Your father is right. His face changed. What? He's right. I'm not good enough for you. Audrey, don't start being dramatic. I'll never be one of you. He relaxed slightly, clearly thinking I was about to apologize. Then I smiled. Thank God. His face froze. Pack a bag. What? Go to the gala, stay at Gregory's afterward. He stared at me, as if I'd started speaking another language. Are you breaking up with me? Yes. Because I told you the truth? No, because you finally did. Finn laughed again, but this time there was panic underneath it. You're seriously throwing away 2 years? I'm agreeing with your father's assessment. We're incompatible. You'll regret this tomorrow. Maybe. You think someone else is going to tolerate you disappearing into that workshop every week? Maybe not. His jaw tightened. You're unbelievable. And you're still not packing. 20 minutes later, Finn left with a suitcase, muttering every insult he could think of. He believed I would call him before midnight. I didn't. Instead, I opened Instagram. Because there was something Finn had forgotten. About a year earlier, he'd added me to his close friends list. Usually it was harmless nonsense. Restaurant complaints, gym selfies, complaints about flying economy. But during the previous month, I'd started saving something else. Videos. In one, Finn was at a spa with his friend Caleb, drinking champagne. Dad is making me review schematics for the new development, Finn complained into the camera. Like, why? They're houses. Rich people buy them. Who cares? Another was recorded from his company Mercedes. These clients want reclaimed timber everywhere. Dad bends over backward for them. He's such a dinosaur. Then came the video that made me start screen recording everything. Finn held up an expensive designer watch. Company Amex, he said, laughing. Caleb asked, How are you expensing that? Client gifting. You're insane. Who's going to check, Dad? Finn laughed. It's my inheritance. I'm just accessing it early. I watched that clip 3 times. Gregory had spent 2 years studying my hands and wondering whether I wanted access to his family's money. Meanwhile, his own son was openly stealing from the company Gregory had spent 30 years building. I could have deleted the videos, I could have blocked Finn and moved on. Instead, I remembered something. Every Friday morning, Gregory ate breakfast at Miller's Diner. 7 o'clock, same booth, same black coffee, same physical newspaper. Because Gregory claimed phones were destroying civilization. I connected my iPad to its charger. Then I started editing. 90 seconds. Finn mocking the company. Finn insulting the clients. Finn calling Gregory a dinosaur. And finally, it's my inheritance. I'm just accessing it early. At 6:45 the next morning, I put the iPad in my truck. For the first time since I'd met Gregory DeRocco, I wasn't nervous about whether he respected me. I didn't care anymore. I only wondered what would happen when he realized he'd spent 2 years staring at the wrong parasite. Friday morning, 7:10. Miller's Diner smelled like burnt coffee, bacon grease, and 20 years of conversations nobody bothered lowering their voices for. Contractors filled the booths near the windows. 2 police officers sat at the counter. Somewhere behind me, silverware clattered against thick white plates. And in the back corner, exactly where I knew he'd be, sat Gregory DeRocco, alone, reading an actual newspaper. I walked straight toward him. He noticed me when I was 3 steps away. His expression changed immediately. Audrey. Not hello, just my name, said like an inconvenience. I slid into the booth across from him. He lowered the paper. You've got a lot of nerve. Good morning, Gregory. Finn called his mother last night. Of course he had. Gregory folded the newspaper carefully. He told us you threw him out before the gala. I did, his mouth tightened. I always knew this would happen. I almost laughed. What exactly did you know? That you couldn't handle pressure. There it was. Even now, he tells me you exploded because he was honest with you. I didn't explode. You kicked him out. I ended the relationship. Same thing. No, it isn't. Gregory leaned back. You humiliated my son. I rested my hands on the table. He told you what I did. Yes. Did he tell you why? Gregory's stare hardened. I don't care. I think you will. He started reaching for his newspaper again. I'm not interested in relationship drama. This isn't about our relationship. That stopped him. I took out the iPad. Gregory looked at it, then at me. What is that? Something you should see. No. You're a businessman. His eyebrow lifted slightly. You care about loyalty. Nothing. You hate waste. Still nothing. And you've made it very clear how you feel about people who live off somebody else's work. His eyes narrowed. Get to the point. So I did. I placed the iPad between us and pressed play. Finn appeared on screen wearing a white spa robe. Gregory's face didn't move. Finn laughed. Dad's making me review schematics again. Like, why? They're houses. Who cares? Gregory's fingers stopped moving against his coffee cup. Next clip. Finn inside the company Mercedes. These clients have no taste. Dad just gives them whatever they ask for because he's terrified they'll walk. He's such a dinosaur. Gregory's jaw tightened. Then came the watch. Finn held it toward the camera. Company Amex. Caleb laughed from somewhere off screen. How are you expensing that? Client gifting. And if your dad checks? Finn grinned. He won't. A pause. It's my inheritance. I'm just accessing it early. The video ended. The diner's noise suddenly felt very far away. Gregory didn't speak. He stared at the blank screen. Then he reached forward. Play that last part again. I did. He watched it twice. By the second time, his face had gone completely blank. That frightened me more than yelling would have. Finally, he looked up. Why are you showing me this? Because you spent 2 years assuming I wanted something from your family. His eyes stayed on mine. I don't. You want revenge. No. Money? No. Then what? I hesitated. Finn embarrassed me. That's between him and me. Gregory said nothing. But this? I tapped the iPad. This is between him and you. His expression sharpened. You recorded him. He posted it to his close friends list. I was on it. You saved it. Yes. For how long? A month. That landed differently. Gregory leaned back. So you've been waiting for this? No, that was the truth. I started saving them because something felt wrong. I didn't know what I would ever do with them. And now? Now, I'm done protecting him. Gregory stared at the coffee in front of him. I stood. You were right about one thing. He looked up. I'm not one of you. His eyes narrowed. I build things people use for generations. You built a company from nothing. I respect that. I picked up the iPad. But Finn doesn't. Gregory's face changed slightly. Only slightly. I thought you deserved to know. You expect me to thank you? No. I left $10 beside my untouched coffee. I don't want anything from you. Then I walked out. My hands started shaking the second I reached my truck. Not because I regretted it, because Gregory's silence had been terrifying. I drove home and turned my phone face down. At 10:03, it started vibrating. Finn. Then again. And again. Finally, I looked. What did you do? Another message. What did you show him? Then, he's here. A minute later, he took the Mercedes. He canceled my company card. He took my office keys. Then, he's making me go into accounting. I stared at the screen. Another message appeared. You ruined my life. Then another. You psycho. Then, I'm suing you. Those videos were private. I blocked him. For exactly 58 minutes, my apartment was quiet. Then somebody started pounding on the door. Not knocking. Pounding. I walked toward the hallway and looked through the peephole. Finn. His hair was messy. His eyes were red. He wasn't carrying the leather briefcase he brought everywhere. Audrey! Bang. Open the door. I stayed silent. I know you're in there! Another hit against the door. You had no right! I grabbed my phone. Finn, leave! His voice rose. You stole from me! I didn't steal anything. You recorded me. You posted it to friends. You added me. Silence. Then, just open the door. No. Audrey, come on. No. His tone changed. Softer. I'm angry, that's all. I'll pack the rest of your belongings and arrange a pickup. You can't keep my stuff. I'm not. Then let me in. No. The softness disappeared. You think you're clever? I didn't answer. My dad thinks I'm a criminal now. That sounds like a conversation you should have with him. You destroyed my career. You talked about using company money on Instagram. It was a joke! His fist hit the door again. My pulse jumped. Then he said something that made every muscle in my body go still. You know what? Fine. Maybe I'll tell the police what you were really like behind this door. I didn't move. What does that mean? You know exactly what it means. I opened the voice memo app, pressed record, then moved closer to the door. Finn. Silence. I spoke clearly. Are you threatening to make a false police report against me? Nothing. 10 seconds. Then his voice came back quieter. I didn't say that. You said you'd tell police what I was like behind this door. I meant emotionally. Then we're clear. I kept my voice steady. I have never hit you, threatened you, trapped you, or prevented you from leaving this apartment. Audrey. And if you knowingly claim otherwise because you're angry about the breakup, that would be false. He didn't respond. I continued. Your belongings will be boxed. I will text you when they're ready. If you continue pounding on my door, I will call the police myself. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then Finn screamed. Not words, just rage. Something slammed into the hallway wall. Then footsteps. I waited until I heard the elevator. Only then did I sit down. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped the phone. I replayed the recording once. His words were there. So were mine. Clear. Calm. I saved copies to 2 different drives. That afternoon I started boxing his things. Shoes, designer jackets, watches. 3 different skincare devices I still didn't understand. Then I reached the kitchen, and there it was. Finn's prized espresso machine, limited edition, hand-polished steel. Almost $3,000. He had bragged about it for months. I'd never asked where he'd gotten the money. Now I knew. I stared at that machine for a long time. Then my phone buzzed from an unknown number. A message. You think you're safe because you recorded me. Another. You have no idea what I'm going to do next. I didn't respond. 2 days later, somebody knocked on my door again. This time it wasn't Finn. It was a sheriff's deputy. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a petition for an emergency temporary restraining order. Finn claimed I had stalked him, harassed him, illegally obtained private information, tried to blackmail his father, and made him fear for his safety. I read the last sentence 3 times. Then I sat down at my kitchen table. Finn hadn't just decided to punish me. He had decided to rewrite the entire relationship. And now he wanted a judge to believe his version first. The next week cost me $3,500. I'd been saving that money for a new CNC router. Instead, it went to an attorney named Tessa Grant, a 40-something woman with silver-streaked hair and the energy of someone who considered intimidation recreational. She read Finn's petition. Instagram recordings? Yes. Proof you were on his close friends list? Yes. The recording outside your apartment? Yes. Her eyebrow lifted. You record everything? I'm a furniture maker. Measuring twice is kind of our thing. She smiled. Good. The hearing was 6 days later. Finn arrived with his mother and an expensive lawyer, wearing a conservative navy jacket and no jewelry. He looked exhausted and frightened. If I hadn't known him, I might have believed him. She became obsessive, Finn told the judge. She monitored my private social media and saved videos without telling me. His lawyer claimed I'd weaponized private recordings to damage Finn's career and family. The judge looked at me. Miss Mercer, did you secretly access Mr. Duraco's account? Tessa stood. No, Your Honor. She handed over a screenshot. Mr. Duraco personally added my client to his Instagram close friends audience. She didn't hack anything. She saw material he intentionally shared with her. Finn shifted in his seat. His lawyer tried another angle. Regardless, those recordings were weaponized. Tessa finally looked at him. Interesting choice of word. She explained that the video showed Finn discussing personal purchases made with a corporate credit card and disguising them as client expenses. The room went quiet. It was a joke, Finn blurted. The judge frowned. Mr. Duraco, let your attorney speak. Then Tessa placed my phone on the table. And since we're discussing threats, we should address what happened after the breakup. Finn recognized it immediately. Tessa explained how he'd pounded on my door and suggested he might tell police what she was really like behind that door. The judge looked directly at Finn. Did you threaten to make a false allegation against Miss Mercer? No. We have the exchange recorded, Tessa said. Finn swallowed. I was upset. That wasn't my question, the judge replied. I never actually filed anything with the police. That answer told the judge everything she needed. The temporary restraining order was denied. She warned Finn against using the court to manufacture a harassment narrative from a relationship dispute and ordered us to avoid unnecessary contact. Outside, Tessa handed me the invoice. $3,500. Expensive victory, I said. The good ones usually are. I returned to my workshop and tried to forget Finn existed. A week later, Gregory called. Audrey. Gregory. I heard about court. Silence. My wife wanted Finn to fight this. I paid for the lawyer. Okay. I shouldn't have. Then his voice hardened. The audit came back. I stopped sanding. What audit? Company cards. $18,400. I lowered the sander. Restaurants. Clothes. Electronics. Spa charges. Personal travel. Fake client expenses. And the watch? Company property now. Despite myself, I smiled. Finn is staying in accounts payable, Gregory continued. His paycheck will go toward paying the company back. Then he surprised me. I owe you an apology. For what? I was wrong about you. The workshop suddenly felt quiet. I saw the truck, the work clothes, your hands. I thought Finn was dating someone without ambition. And now? I looked at your company. You researched me? I've built houses for 32 years, Audrey. He paused. You built something yourself. So did I. I forgot what that meant. That apology mattered more than I wanted it to. Then Gregory returned to being Gregory. Send me your attorney's invoice. No. Audrey, absolutely not. Fine, then I'm hiring you. For what? My home office, I laughed. You're serious. My wife says it's dated. And? My wife has been saying that every day for 11 years. Fair enough. Your design fee, he added, will coincidentally begin at $3,500. That's ridiculous. Send me the damned proposal. He hung up. 2 weeks later, Finn sent Caleb to collect his remaining belongings. I carried out 12 boxes. Caleb counted them. That's everything. Everything Finn owns. He glanced toward the kitchen. Where's the espresso machine? The artisan? Yeah. I smiled. That wasn't Finn's. Caleb frowned. What? I showed him the company statement. Finn had purchased the nearly $3,000 machine with Duraco Signature Homes Amex and categorized it as client staging equipment. So where is it? Gregory's office manager collected it yesterday. Caleb stared at me. You gave it back to his dad? I returned company property to the company that paid for it. He started laughing. Finn is going to lose his mind. He'll survive. Before leaving, Caleb paused. For what it's worth, Finn told everyone you were living off him. I looked at my house, my truck, then through the open workshop door at equipment I'd bought myself. Of course he did. 2 months have passed. Gregory's office is almost finished. He's a nightmare client. He questions every joint, every species of wood, every drawer slide. But he pays every invoice within 24 hours. And he doesn't call what I do a hobby anymore. Finn is still downstairs at Duraco Signature Homes, paying the company back. I haven't spoken to him since court. For 2 years, I thought he wanted his father's approval. What he really wanted was everything his father had built, without becoming the kind of person capable of building it. Yesterday, I stood inside Gregory's new office, running my hand over the walnut desk I'd made. He inspected one of the joints, then grunted. Good work. Coming from Gregory Duraco, that was practically a standing ovation. Finn spent 2 years convincing me his family's world was above mine. Now his father sits behind a desk I designed, inside an office I built, while Finn works downstairs repaying money he took from the company. Gregory once said I'd never be good enough for his son. Turns out he was right. And I've never been more grateful.